Have you ever had one of those days, or maybe even weeks, where you feel like you're just going through the motions? You're on autopilot, just kind of existing. Well, today we're going to talk about a massive shift from that feeling. We're going to look at the difference between just passively drifting along and truly, actively living. And we'll see how one simple practice, let's call it prayer, or a kind of focused intention, can completely change the very foundation of your reality.
So, I want to ask you, and be honest with yourself. Are you really steering your own ship, or are you kind of just floating on a raft, letting the currents of life push you around? You know, it's a tough question, for sure, but answering it is the first crucial step toward a life that feels way more meaningful. It's about deciding, okay, I'm going to be the captain, not just a passenger.
And this really shows the two options we have, right? On one side, you've got drifting along. You're just reacting to whatever happens, at the mercy of the waves. But the other option is to approach each day with a clear intention, almost like a prayer for how you want to show up in the world. And the difference isn't just about what you do, it's about the entire foundation of how you live. Which brings us right to our first big idea, living with intention. I want you to think of this as the actual bedrock of your life. Whether you have that intentional, prayerful approach or not, well, that decides if you're building your life on solid rock or on shifting sand. This is such a powerful way to think about it. I mean, a life built without that deep, core intention might look fine from the outside, but it's really built on sand. It's so vulnerable when life's storms inevitably hit. But when you build your life with intention, moment by moment, you create this incredible, unbreakable foundation for real, lasting happiness.
Okay, so if intention is the foundation, what are we actually protecting ourselves from? What's the real source of all our daily struggles and stress? Well, let's take a look at a really surprising diagnosis for all our worries. Just think for a second about all the things that stress you out. You know, that nagging feeling of not being good enough, worrying about money, anxiety over what other people think of you. It can seriously feel like we're being attacked from a million different directions. But what if all those things, all those separate problems, could be traced back to just one single root cause?
And there it is. The psychologist Alfred Adler said this, and for so many people, this is a huge aha moment. All problems are interpersonal relationship problems. It sounds like such a bold claim, right? But stick with me here, because when you really start to unpack it, you see how deeply true it is. So let's break it down. Take a look at these common struggles. Feelings of inferiority? Well, they can only exist if you're comparing yourself to someone else. Financial anxiety? So often, that's about keeping up with other people. Even worries about our appearance. That's all about how we think other people see us. So you see, almost all of our suffering is tied, one way or another, to our relationships with other people. But why? Why are relationships so difficult? What is it about us that makes connecting with others so challenging sometimes? This brings us to the absolute core of the issue, a clash of egos. See, deep down, we all have this thing that philosophers call self-love, or ego. Now, this isn't just about being confident. It's a deep-seated, natural drive to put ourselves first, to see the entire world through the lens of me, me, me. And it's a super powerful force that shapes almost all of our interactions. And this isn't some new idea. The philosopher Blaise Pascal wrote about this centuries ago. He knew that this is just a fundamental part of being human. It's not some moral failing we have. It's more like our default factory setting. And this is where all the trouble starts. Life becomes this constant, invisible battle where your ego, which is designed to want to be number one, is always clashing with everyone else's ego, which also wants to be number one. It's like a cosmic bumper car arena. And that friction, that constant bumping of egos, that's the real engine behind our suffering.
Okay, so we've figured out the problem. Our suffering comes from our egos clashing in our relationships. So what's the fix? Is there actually a specific remedy for this fundamental human problem? Well, let's talk about the prescription.
And the answer is yes, there is a specific remedy. And it's not some complicated secret or technique you have to learn. The remedy for all that friction, the antidote to our relational suffering, is the very thing we started with, prayer. Or that focused, sincere intention.
Now, this is a really important point. We usually think of prayer as a way to ask for things, right? Or to try and change our situation, or maybe even change other people. But its most powerful, most dramatic effect is on the one thing we actually have control over, our own heart. And when your heart changes, your relationships, they can't help but change right along with it.
So why does this work so well? Well, think of a sincere prayer as having the perfect ingredients to counteract a self-centered ego.
It naturally helps you develop compassion for other people, a real sincerity in how you deal with them, and an earnest desire to connect on a much deeper level. It automatically shifts your focus from me to we.
All right, let's get practical. How does this transformation actually work? What's the step-by-step process that lets this simple practice reshape who we are and how we connect with others?
It's really a two-step process. First, that intentional prayer transforms our self-love. It doesn't get rid of the ego, but it elevates it. It turns that self-centered energy into genuine compassion for other people. And second, it gives us the courage to build equal relationships, to see others as they are and engage with them as equals, not as competition.
And this brings us right back to the beginning. Remember what Adler said, if all our problems are really relationship problems, then it makes perfect sense that when our relationships get better, the vast majority of our life's problems, they start to solve themselves. The anxiety starts to fade, the constant comparing stops, and all that friction just subsides.
So the conclusion here is actually pretty simple and direct. Living a life where you intentionally approach each day with a sense of prayer isn't just some nice, fluffy idea. It is the most direct, shortest path to a genuinely happy life. It's the most effective way to solve our deepest source of suffering. So as we wrap this up, this last question isn't just something to think about later. It's really a call to action. It's not about if you should set an intention, but what that intention is going to be. So I'll leave you with this. What prayer, what specific intention are you going to bring to the rest of your day?